Hey guys, welcome back to another PTS video. This is my first video of my PU multi-filament series. The first string we have is Tourna Quasi Gut, and we're just reviewing them in order of cheapest to most expensive. And this string was interesting. When I strung it at 48. Oh wait, no, I strung it at 51 pounds, and yeah. And when I started stringing it, I could tell there was some sort of like a resin on it. It had a distinct smell. And it kind of had a texture like a resin, a little bit sticky. Yeah, it's kind of like a sticky, kind of oily feeling. And when I first played with it, I actually thought that this string has no feel. I didn't understand the feedback at all. I feel like I was getting no feedback from the ball. And it was so stiff as well. It's a very strange combination to have a high stiffness and low feel. But when I was playing with it, I was kind of feeling my old tennis elbow coming back. So it's like the worst of both worlds. Stiff but no spin, and yet no feel and no comfort. Kind of felt like it was a cheap nylon string almost. It was difficult to understand the feedback. I felt like it was low power and it had low control, and I was tempted to cut it out. But like all strings, I do give the strings the benefit of the doubt, and I usually at least try to play with it for at least a month. I played with it until it broke. I strung it on May 4th, and it broke about 3 weeks later. I mainly just did some light play with the strings, some ball machine work, and also I played a few matches with it because strings do feel different in practice versus matches. And yeah, it was pretty much the same result. The no comfort part was really shocking for a PU multi-filament. It was even more painful to my elbow than many of the softer polys that I've tried. And I think it might have some. I think it has something to do with the resin. I think maybe the resin, as it dries out, it causes the nylon to be more stiff or something. But yeah, with that said, the durability was pretty average. A lot of my harder hitting friends weren't available for a lot of sessions, so if I was hitting with harder hitting people, it probably wouldn't have lasted even this long, but it's about average for a PU. It's not as long as some of the more durable PU multi-filaments that we'll talk about later down the line. But for, it's $10. Like, I'm not going to be super harsh on this string for how cheap it is. It's less than $10. My other video with PU multis have all the prices listed. But yeah, I will say though, something interesting about the string is after hitting it for 2 weeks, the string did start to stretch out a little bit. It started to feel more like a multi-filament string then. But the thing that was interesting about it was it went to feeling low power to having like really high power. And it was hard to keep the ball in the court. I personally enjoy having a little higher power and keeping the ball in, but yeah, this string, it really required me to hit in front of me and do my full swing. It was nice for my flat serves. I felt like that little trampoline effect was nice, and it also helps with my backhands. It's not as much fun for my forehands though, and yeah, this is probably the last time I'll buy this string, which is sad to say because I do like Tourna as a company, and I hope they release some new strings soon that improves upon this string. But yeah, I can't think of anyone I would recommend this string over another string in this similar price for a PU multi. Yeah, so that is the Tourna Quasi Gut. Alright, next we have Quasi Gut Armor, and this is a string I actually liked quite a bit at the beginning. I strung it at 48.5 pounds, which is just a little bit less than what I strung Quasi Gut at, because I remember Quasi Gut when I first strung it, it was so stiff, and I didn't like how I didn't get any power out of it. And yeah, at 48.5 pounds, it was nice. It was how it was giving me feedback. I felt like I was getting decent power, and it was fairly easy to control. It was sort of feeling like the nicer PU multi-filaments at around $20, and I was getting quite hopeful that this might be the one. However, unfortunately, after about a week of play, it started getting difficult to control. The string was getting much more responsive. The strings were out of place after every hit. Like the nicer PU multi-filaments, they have decent snapback, but this one had lost all its snapback. And I thought it was kind of strange how it felt like it lost so much tension after a week, especially because it's a multi-filament, and multi-filaments don't lose tension that quickly. So I checked the tension using the ERT 300, and I saw that it had lost 6 pounds in a week, which is pretty shocking for a multi-filament because multis are usually good until they snap. It's not unusual for poly. Polys all the time will lose 6 pounds in a week, especially if you're playing often. But yeah, in a multi-filament, that is, to me, that's not acceptable. And maybe it has something to do with like that little blue strand that is going through the string. Maybe how they implemented that. There's a problem with that, or maybe the PU resin approach that Tourna's doing isn't working for them. Yeah, the PU resin approach, I don't think that's going to be the way that you get that nice polyurethane plush feeling from the racket, because I think what happens is the strings start drying out like a nylon string, like a cheap nylon string. It doesn't have the PU properties where it's resilient to drying out. And yeah, also maybe the resin starts hardening or something, because yeah, I was starting to feel a little bit of pain in my elbow again. And yeah, I mean, I still played it until it snapped. It lasted until, let's see, so I strung it at May 27th and it snapped on June 11th. So that's about 2 weeks of play. And I did play some matches with this string as well. Yeah, and I didn't particularly like it because I played the matches after the week where it had dropped a lot of tension. It was a bit difficult to control. But I mean, I got used to it. Like most strings that I play with, I think all strings that I play with, I eventually do get used to them, and I start figuring out how to keep the ball in the court. So yeah, after the first week, like the second week, I was just hitting with it with my ball machine, and then it snapped. I think I got about medium amount of play. I think this string actually lasts a little bit less than the Tourna Quasi Gut. It's hard to say though, because 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that difference just could be I was hitting a little bit harder, a little bit more often, or yeah, maybe I was traveling with people who hit the ball a little bit harder. So the durability, I think it's about the same. But I mean, the reason why I'm not going too harsh on this string is it's like, I can't remember exactly how much it was. It's less than $10. But yeah, I don't think they should market this as a PU string, and honestly, I didn't even think that it should be marketed as a multi-filament string. I felt like it was closer to a synthetic gut. The way that it fell apart, the way like it doesn't fray like a multi-filament does. The strings just get cut into enough that they eventually snap, just like a synthetic gut would. So I felt like the string is more of a synthetic gut, and yeah, it's difficult. Once again, if you look at my video, why different prices in multi-filament, this is another example of why it's so hard to get cheap, nice PU strings. I think implementing PU into the string is very difficult. Here, I think they didn't really do that. They're mostly the two Tourna strings. I felt like more like they're just synthetic gut strings, more like a nylon string, and then they just maybe applied a PU resin over the strings, and then the armor, they just had a little strand of poly going through the string. And even I'm not even sure if that was really a strand of poly, because as the string was wearing out, I couldn't see like little plastic poly string sticking out. It kind of just like wore out, almost like it was like just like a another blue nylon strand that wore out. But I mean, I might have just missed it, so I'm not going to go too much into that. But yeah, that's all I have to say. These two strings, because they're less than $10, it's hard to be too harsh on them. I do wish that it wasn't marketed as a PU string. The PU resin approach, I don't think it's a very good approach. They should just probably get rid of the PU resin, and if they can, just drop it another 50 cents cheaper to make it even more of a more marketable string. Because then the lower you go, the better you look against the competition in that price range. And yeah, if you have tennis level, I can't recommend either of these strings. Yeah, which I mean, I hate being negative about strings because I want companies to succeed. I want companies to make a lot of diverse strings. So it really sucks that I can't give a positive recommendation for either of these strings. But I guess maybe if you are a not as hard hitter, you can try the Quasi Gut Armor. I remember I liked that quite a bit at the beginning. Maybe it won't drop tension so much for you as it did for me. Or maybe if you want to try the Tourna Quasi Gut, what might make it better is if you just drop the tension a bit. You might even try doing a little pre-stretch on it. That might be nice as well. But yeah, that's all I have. Thanks for watching and look forward to more PU multifilaments in the future. Bye.